In this video, I'll be walking you through how you can set up SolarMail so that you can generate accounts for yourself. First thing you're going to do after you do open up the bot is navigate over to the settings page. Inside of the settings page is where you're going to be setting up your API keys. Now, what type of API keys? They're going to be your third-party CAPTCHA solvers, and then there's also going to be SMS solvers that you're going to be adding in as well. I won't be navigating over to show you that page in this video simply because I have my API keys already in there and they are sensitive information that I don't want to expose to others. So we're going to skip this part of it, but once you've set that up, you're going to simply navigate over to the tasks area right here where all the account creation is going to begin. Up top here, you're going to notice that it says select module. Once you select the drop down here, you're exposed to a multitude of different modules that are made available to you. You can generate Amazon accounts, there's AOL, there's Gmails, GMX, there's Google form entries for raffles, iCloud generator, there's Nike account generator, Outlook, Ticketmaster, WebD, and then also Yahoo made available to you as well too. Before you get trigger happy and start creating a bunch of accounts for yourself, make sure that you do visit the Discord and take a look at the guides that they have specific to the module that you're looking to run. Each module is ran in a very different way and supports separate and different types of SMS providers as well as proxies and CAPTCHA providers. So you do want to make sure that you're taking the right steps ahead of time to set yourself up for success so that you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting proxies, and potentially you're not wasting any SMS or third-party solving credits. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to assume that we're going to be generating Outlook accounts. Just make things easy. When you select Outlook Register, as you can see here, it's going to be asking you for a bunch of different things. First thing that you need to know about the top here, that states amounts, that's just simply the amount of accounts that you're looking to generate. Do you want to create 10? Do you want to create 20? Do you want to create 2,000? You set this number according to what your needs are. Underneath that, it says threads. So what are threads? Think of threads as a singular browser window. By default, I have it at 10 here. So we're assuming that there's 10 windows open. You want to be very careful and very mindful of what you're setting your threads at because each computer operates at a different level because of the specs that they have. So taking your RAM and your CPU into consideration, that's where you're going to want to set up your threads at an amount that your computer can comfortably operate at. You don't want to set it up at 1,000 and blow up your computer, for example. So the average that you can set it up at is 10 to 20, which means that there's 10 to 20 hidden browsers that are operating in the background, actively generating accounts for you. Make sure to test this. Also read their guides and make sure that you're not overdoing it. Underneath that, you have the CAPTCHA providers. So this is where it's letting you know that we support CapSolver, we support any CAPTCHA, and we also support 2CAPTCHA. Again, make sure that you check their Discord because they will recommend or they will tell you which one that you should be actively using during that period of time. Max fun CAPTCHA wave, so it's how many CAPTCHAs are coming through at once that are being solved. By default, it's at 3. You can adjust that. I'm going to leave it at default. I wouldn't recommend changing it. Just leave it as is. And then underneath that, you have a series of other inputs that you need to put in, which includes, for example, which email you're going to be forwarding it to, what is the backup email, which is the recovery email, and then the IMAP, because, of course, there's going to be app passwords, there's going to be OTP codes, there's going to be a variety of things where it's going to need to access the original forwarded email. So make sure that you do get that set up. Underneath that is selecting your domain. So you could do multiple domains. There's Outlook.com, JPDEFR for France and Spain. And then, of course, you got old-fashioned Hotmail if you want to set that up. You have your forwarding mode. So it's by default, there's only one option available, which is Google forwarding. Leave it at that. And then it comes down to selecting and assigning your proxy list, safe sender, first name, and last name. Out of this, the only thing that you need to do is go source your proxies. How are we going to make an educated decision to select the right type of proxies? Well, let me show you guys. So inside of their Discord, once again, right here, right? Inside of Discord, as you can see, you start from the top. There's a written guide that explains this. There's error handling on that. And then you have files that they're giving you ahead of time, which includes your first name, last name, and your safe sender. Simply save these And then once you've saved them, whether if it's in your desktop or a folder, click select the file, choose that file, and then once it's been added in, the bubble or the button will be green like what you see here, okay? Same thing goes, of course, for your proxy list, but when it comes down to proxy list, take a look to see what they recommend. In here, you'll notice that they say when using, their recommendation is IP Royal. So when using IP Royal, make sure that you're using the FTSE EU pool or custom makes a large pool for EU select countries. And then, of course, when it comes down to the CAPTCHA solving, yes, there's multiple options, but as I mentioned earlier, they make a recommendation of what you should be using. And in this case, new, and for now, you're going to be using any CAPTCHA. So, of course, make sure that you are following what they're saying and you set it up accordingly. Once this is done, you're going to select Create Tasks. When you select Create Tasks, here it is. So this is your module. You'll press Start, and it'll start to run. Now, I personally have Web Register going right now, which are WebDE accounts that are being created. Any other account type that you're creating, it's not going to look any different than what I'm about to show you guys here. But ultimately, when you are generating your Outlook accounts or any other account, doesn't matter of fact, if you just select it to drill into it, it'll give you task statuses of what's happening. Of course, it'll tell you how many it's been generated out of how many your goal and your target was, and you can take it from there. You could stop them, you can export them directly from here, or you can remove the task group that's being ran. Once you're done creating your accounts here, what you can do is go over to task history, and inside of task history is where you can export the generated accounts into whichever destination that you want to be able to access them. That's the Outlook side of things. Same thing when it comes down to the other modules. If you want to create Nike accounts, for example, select Nike, select your threads, which were the browsers that I had mentioned, select your proxy list. Then when it comes out to accounts, simply navigate over to Nike Guide. And right here, they're giving you formats of what you'll be ultimately adding in there. Now, just keep in mind what they mean by accounts is the emails that you're planning to create Nike accounts on, right? So the format that you would be putting in is your email domain, your email's password that you want, first and last name that's going to be going on to the Nike account, birthday that you're going to set, the shopping preferences. Again, this is password for the Nike account, right? So if you want your Nike account's password to be 123, password 123, I'll set it as that. These are the preferences and the names that you're setting up. And then lastly, you have your IMAP information just on this side over here so that when the account creation is happening, it can scrape the OTP code and finalize the account creation. And then, of course, you have your account regions that you can select and then the SMS region to go with that. Regions, they are abbreviated. So GB meaning Great Britain. If you want to do US, you would do US. If you want to do Canada, you would do Canada. You want to do Mexico, you do Mex. Of course, some of these things are, to an extent, self-explanatory, but if you're unaware of what the abbreviations of your region is for that you want to generate, just either navigate over to Google and type in your country, and right next to country, put abbreviation. So, for example, if you want to know what New Zealand's abbreviation is, simply in Google type New Zealand abbreviation, and then they'll spit back NZ. Then you would just come in here and you would type NZ. So some formatting issues right there. So there we go. Excellent. Once you've done that, you select create, and in the same process, it's going to go through the generation process. Leave this open. Let it run. Once you're done creating your accounts, make sure that you do export them and take it from there. One last thing that I'm going to show you guys is how to effectively use the Mail Manager. If you are going to be using SolarMail to generate hundreds, maybe thousands of accounts being Yahoo's, it could be Outlooks, it could be Gmails or what have you. Of course, you don't want to log into each individual one manually to have to check your raffle wins or check your orders or what have you. So adding them into the Mail Manager is going to make your life a lot easier because it will take all the emails and it'll populate the inbox details all in this area here. How do you do that? Just select Add Edit Group. And in here, you're going to add your group. You can name it what you like, and then it gives you format options. So you can do email password, you can do email password, IMAP host. These two will vary based off of the email provider that you're importing in. To know which is which, just simply navigate over to the Mail Tool Guide right here. Inside of their guide, it explains what each one is going to look like. So as you can see here, you have web, you have Yahoo, you have Outlook, you have Gmail. It's giving you the format that you need to import these files into. Set them up as you need, import them in from the main page, but then you'll notice that your groups are here for the accounts that you've set them up. You can simply select the refresh button and it will show everything that's within the inbox combined from all the emails that you've added in. And then of course, through the account generation process, there is a clip manager too that you can check to make sure that you're filtering out the accounts that they're getting clipped along the way. But that's it. This is SolarMill in a nutshell. If you have any questions, of course, open a ticket inside of their Discord. They'll be more than happy to assist you. They do operate on EU time because they are from the EU. So if you're from the US watching this and you're actively using this and you run into an issue and you open a ticket, please be mindful of the different time zones and different regions. So if they don't get back to you right away, just give them enough time to wake up, of course, and visit your ticket and take it from there. Thank you for watching.